I'm Stacy Morris, and I am here to present Smart Exchange on my smartboard. What I've decided to do is finding ionic compound formulas, and the reason why I chose this is it's very interactive. I decided not to do it with my students today, but I did like this presentation because it was very student interactive. But as I would do is I would start out and I would just kind of refresh the student's memory of what an ionic compound is, and it consists of a metal and a non-metal. And that's why I like using the smartboard, because you're able to write directly onto the screen. If we go to the next slide, you can see that it's very text friendly. It's not real heavy, and it just kind of just tells you that the total charge of an ionic compound is always neutral. And this is just something that the students can quickly write down, and it's not a bunch of information on there. Okay, the next slide again is information for the students. It just lets you know how you go about finding an ionic compound. So the first few slides is just basically just to give the students some information, and I just want to make sure that they are just not bombarded with a lot of information. Okay, so now this is the point where I would demonstrate for the students how to work this, and then I would have I would ask for volunteers for students to come up to the smartboard and actually do the drag and drop. Okay, so here what we have to do is drag each ion to the middle and keep adding until the piece makes as a whole. Okay, so we're going to move the F3 plus over, and then we're going to move the hydroxide over until it looks like a whole piece. So with doing that, then we know that with Fe3 plus, it takes 3 hydroxides that has a -1 charge in order to make it neutral, the overall charge to be 0. And so the formula would be FeOH3. Okay, next, again, I would have a student volunteer to come up here to the smartboard to actually do this, and I would encourage the students to give them the feedback. I think that it's important for, even though a student is up here, that the whole class interacts in it. So it says find the formula for NH4 with NO2, and using the directions, I would just remind them that we have to make a whole piece. So the student would locate ammonia here, ammonium there. Okay, so now we're going to have O2. So we're going to move O2. Okay, and then I would ask the student, does that make a whole piece? And it's not making a whole piece because here we're missing a spot. So we know that we have to have 2 ammoniums, and so we're going to move that to make that to be a whole piece. So then I would ask the student, the volunteer, to actually write the formula, and we know that that would be NH420. I really like drag and drop because this gives the students a visual of how they need to go about writing the formulas. Okay, so again, I would just ask for another volunteer to come up, and they would find the Fe2 plus. Okay, and then we have S2 minus, and the special part about this is that it takes 1. So we know that it's going to only take 1 Fe and S2 because they have the same charges. The charges actually cancel out, so they would know that the formula was FeS. So just to give the students more practice, because that was only 2 examples, and I would like to have as many students up here as I can in order for them to come up and actually be interactive with the smartboard, because I think that just sitting in the desk, they're not going to learn, but if they can actually get up and touch the smartboard, I think that that's more effective learning. So we would just go to sciencegeek.net and let this load up, and it just says that this is a quiz on writing balance the ionic equation, and so we would just start the quiz, and then it's 20 questions. There's 20 questions, so it should be enough for each one of the students to come up at least once and actually answer the question. So this way they see iron 3 oxide, and we know that iron 3 oxide is this, and then It lets them know if they're correct or not. So this would be something really good, great practice. So if they're incorrect, then it tells them that they're incorrect, and then they can go back and actually work the question. So this is just a great way to get all the students interactive on the smartboard. Thank you.